monster truck fans, it looks like it's about time to get underway with the third event of this year's BeamNG Monster Trucks Fall Brawl Series. So fans, for those of you who do not know how this works, go check the community page, or the community tab I should say. There's an all new post up explaining all the different rules and winnings of the Fall Brawl Series. So again, if you don't understand how this series works, go check that tab. That will tell you everything you need to know. But we're not going to be discussing all of that here today because we have a big show to get to, 3 competitions and 10 competitors. Now, last time, Frawl Brawl Series West headed to Tucson, Arizona, and Mike Christensen came out on top. But 9 other competitors are all ready to battle it out and try to take that top spot from him, and I'm sure they won't be letting up tonight. Fans, here is how your overall point standings currently look. Leading points at the moment is Mike Christensen in Vendetta. Second place is Venard in the Black Pearl. Third place is Zack, Garner in Wildside. Fourth place, Tim Hall Jr. Jurassic Attack. From there we have Jamey, Garner in Overboard, Dalton, Widner in Shell Shocked, Tyler, Groth in Velociraptor, Nick Pagliarulo in Kraken, Mike Pagliarulo in Excaliber, and last but not least, Matt Pagliarulo and Jester. So a lot of those drivers towards the bottom, particularly the Pagliarulos, have a lot of work to do if they don't want to be on the chopping block for this series, because if you place at the bottom, it won't end very well for your 2026 season. However, the Garner/Overboard team is doing a great job with Cole and Zack both currently sitting in the podium. Fans, it's time to get underway with tonight's show and see how things will shake up. For those of you who are new here, we kick off our events with racing. Now we have a bit of a different format. We can get underway here. One second here, fans. We're going to have to get some work done on Jester. That truck is not firing. Give us 1 second here. We're going to see if we can get this truck fired up. Alright, there we go. You fans may have heard that. Jester is officially fired up and ready to go. So fans, as I was just saying, the night begins with the racing competition. We have a bit of a different format though. We use timed racing, which means we switch up the tracks a little bit. You know, these tracks are made for side-by-side, head-to-head racing, but since we do timed racing, we kind of mess around with the tracks a little bit to make them a little bit more exciting. So, as you can see here, this is a bit of just a straight-on racing course, but we're going to mix it up here. And we're going to turn it into a bit of a Chicago-style track. So, Matt Pagliarulo kicking off racing here will be our first display of how this track will perform. And fans, that's enough talking. It's time to get underway with the action. Matt Pagliarulo staged and ready at the line. Matt currently sitting last place in the series standings. He has some serious work to do here. And every point's going to count towards trying to make that climb back up. So he's off to a pretty strong start here. Oh man, he's going to oversteer that turn. And you really need to be on your A game. Every little slip up is going to really hurt your time. And Matt Pagliarulo and Jester are having a big slip up right there. A nice wheelie here as he's coming down that red lane. Now how can he bring this run to an end? Down the blue lane, full speed ahead. And he's going to accelerate across the finish line with another nice little wheelie. So this track definitely looks like it's going to be nice for those of you who are fans of some nice wheelies there. And setting the bar tonight is Matt Pagliarulo and Jester, putting down a time of a 37.39. 37.39 is the time setting the standard here for the racing competition. Now fans, keep in mind, this is timed racing, which means your only goal is to run your own race as best as you can. You're not head-to-head with anybody, so you're just trying to get your turns and your straight lines as nicely as you can, because The only time that you're impacting is your own. Fans, coming up next, please welcome Mike Pagliarulo and Excaliber. Now, I'm going to be honest here. Although it might not be as entertaining, I think timed racing brings out the best in every driver, because if you're in normal racing and the person you're up against makes a big mistake, well, now you can just take the rest of the race slow and not really have to try as much. But in timed racing, you are responsible for everything that happens in your race, which means you have to be on top of it. Mike Pagliarulo and Excaliber coming up next to the line. Mike Pagliarulo, he's coming out here, and he is looking to really kind of pick things up for Team Tomfoolery, who had a rough first racing pass, and Mike Pagliarulo might be bringing some redemption to the team. Matt Pagliarulo could not get it done, but Mike Pagliarulo nails that first turn, which is the one that really hurt Matt's run. Now it all comes down to this final straightaway to the finish line. Big speed for Mike Pagliarulo, but speed is exactly what you want here in racing. And that big speed that he really put into that last jump is going to pay off, because Mike Pagliarulo puts down a 30.01. Again, that is a 30.01, which is easily going to put him currently in first place in this overall points chase. So, Mike Pagliarulo, very nicely done right there, as he delivers the current leading racing pass. And that might be a hard time to beat. Obviously, we haven't seen too much yet, so it's hard to say, but compared to Matt's, there's a pretty big difference. Alright, well, we're going to move things over here to one last Team Tomfoolery driver. That's right, all three back-to-back-to-back. The order here in racing has been determined based on their series standings placement, so, I mean, that's really saying something there, that all these drivers coming out here for Team Tomfoolery had a pretty rough first show. But I also think that's going to really push them to perform better at this show. And maybe that'll give us some nice wow factors. Nick Pagliarulo, again, the last Team Tomfoolery driver looking to set up here. Staged and ready at the line. Looks like they're going to have him restage here. He got a little ahead of himself. Nick Pagliarulo and Kraken looking to get some more points on the board for Team Tomfoolery. He's going to take that first jump a little bit slower than the other drivers have, and maybe it's going to work out for him, because he is looking very fast right now. And I mean, this is not a very star competition for these Tomfoolery guys, but Nick Pagliarulo's proving right now in Kraken that they can be fast if they put their mind to it, and he is going full speed ahead down this last straightaway. And although that was a really clean pass there for Nick Pagliarulo and Kraken, it is not going to be enough, and that's actually a bit of a surprise to me. That is a 30.84, again, 30.84. That's going to put him in second place right now. So, despite having what, to me, looked like a picture-perfect racing pass, he's not going to take the lead. So, maybe Mike's score, or I guess I should say time, really is going to hold up as we go on here, because right now it's looking like a standout score, or I guess, again, time, seeing as Nick Pagliarulo just could not quite match it despite a pretty perfect pass. So we'll see how these times hold up as we go along. But Team Tomfoolery looks like they're not playing around today. Coming up next, though, we're going to switch it over now to Team Throttle Monster with Tyler Groth and Velociraptor. Tyler Groth, no stranger to monster trucks. He has decades of experience dating back to the 2010s here, which is more than any of these other drivers can really say. Matt Pagliarulo is the only driver that really comes close to matching Tyler Groth's experience. So far, that is. Once we get a little later on, we'll have some other drivers who are a little bit more up there in their career length, but Tyler Groth, with some veteran experience, might be able to get it done here. Big speed right there, so Tyler taking a little bit of a different approach than Nick Pagliarulo. He's going to nail that turn, though. So Tyler, Groth, and Velociraptor looking very fast out here. Man, he is driving like he wants to win this, and maybe he will, because he is perfect around every last corner of this racing course. He is going to accelerate across the finish line, and it is easily the fastest time of the night. Oh, Tyler Groth, the race is over. Don't go over now. Nearly rolling it after the finish line has already been met, but Tyler Groth is going to pretty easily put down the fastest time yet with a 28.25. So Tyler Groth and Velociraptor, they're proving that it is possible to take your time under 30 seconds. And now we're really going to have to see if that time can hold up, because on both Series East and West, only one driver has been able to break 30 seconds in each event so far. I want to say Chris Kohler and Mayhem did it in Bristol, and Mike Christensen and Vendetta did it in Tucson, and now we have Tyler Groth and Velociraptor doing it here in Eagan. So, I mean, we'll see if maybe sub 30 is a more normal time here, but based on patterns, Tyler Groth is looking very, very fast and might be taking home that win tonight. But Team Throttle Monster is not done yet, because coming up next, we have Dalton Widner and his all-new Shell Shocked. Dalton has some added pressure because this is his own truck he is representing now. Jurassic Attack, sure, it has a legacy, but now Dalton is trying to build his own legacy, and that in its own way definitely has some added pressure. He's going to get off the line right away, and he's taking some big speed out here, so Dalton Widner and Shell Shocked looking to get it done. Man, he did lose a lot of speed there in the end of that turn, so we'll have to see what he can recover here. Big air, but in racing sometimes that bigger air is going to slow you down a little bit more. Nice through this last turn, but it looks like he lost it right there. Let's see, can he recover this race? Huge air across the finish line. Oh my goodness, these drivers are just hitting whatever's in front of them by the end of the race. Team Throttle Monster may not even make it out to the next competitions because they are just turning this into freestyle. So right there, Dalton Widner and Shell Shocked. A good effort, but it was not quite enough. The official time, 30.98. Not going to be enough for that top spot. It's actually going to put him in a pretty bad position so far. It's going to put him in 4th place. Yeah, 4th place. So that's kind of unfortunate. You really want to aim higher than that. You know what I will say is there's still a lot of competitors left to go. So there's that. And the other thing I'll say is that really wasn't a bad time at all. It was in the exact same range as all the other times. This racing competition has just been so much more competitive than most others we have seen this season. Matt Pagliarulo and Jester is really the only driver who didn't put down a good time. And for all we know, that could have been because he was the first driver out and didn't really know how the track was going to perform. Well, coming up next, we are kicking it into the second half of timed racing. And coming up, it's Jamey, Garner, and Overboard. Now, Jamey Garner up here, he is pretty up there in experience as well. He's been doing this for about as long as Tyler Groth has, so another driver who isn't really a stranger to the sport, and maybe he can get it done. I mean, from one long career to the next, Tyler Groth held the lead. Maybe Jamey Garner can do it now, but he's gonna have to be fast. He's off to a very nice start, I will say that. Jamey Garner actually nails that turn. I don't think the wheelie is exactly what he was going for there, but maybe it won't slow him down too much because he is looking pretty perfect coming around through the rest of this racing course. Into the final stretch. Oh, he took that very nicely. Huge air. Oh, Jamey, watch out. He's going to go into that little metal barrier, but fortunately that is pure solid steel, so nothing going to happen. He didn't damage anything on the truck, didn't damage anything on the venue. All went down very nicely. Now, here's the conversation. Time to beat 28.25 for Tyler Groth and Velociraptor. The time for Jamey Garner and Overboard is a 28.78, which means it is not enough for the top spot. That's going to put Jamey Garner currently in second place. Now, that might not be enough for that top spot, but it sure was close, and it was very fast by pretty much every measure. So that's going to get Jamey some pretty good points there, and, you know, I think it's going to hold up as we go on here, since there have only been 2 drivers out of 6 to make it into that 28-second range. Tim Hall Jr. and Jurassic Attack is now coming out next. He was looking pretty good in Tucson, but now we're taking it a little bit across the country from the west to the Midwest. And Tim Hall Jr. and Jurassic Attack is looking to get it done. Tim Hall Jr. going green. He is one of the newer drivers out of this lineup. Now at this point, he does have a few years under his belt, but compared to others, he is definitely not as long running, but I'll tell you what, right now he looks like a veteran because he just nailed pretty much the entire first half of the track, and if he can keep this up, Tim Hall Jr. might take home that lead. Oh my goodness, he is looking incredibly fast. He is going to go flying over the finish line, nearly rolls it, but he's going to recover that very nicely. Tim Hall Jr. and Jurassic Attack. Unbelievable work. And that time is enough. 28.09 seconds. Tim Hall Jr. and Jurassic Attack is officially your new leader in racing. Man, you know what? I've been saying this for a while. Team Throttle Monster really are the fastest in this racing competition. You might not believe it, but at this show we are clearly seeing it. Tim Hall Jr. is in the lead, Tyler Groth is in second place, and Mike Christensen is still yet to go. But we're not to Mike Christensen yet, because we're going to throw it back to Team Overboard with Zack, Garner, and Wildside. Now, Jamey Garner currently holds third place, so Zack is under some pressure to perform as well as Jamey could, because, I mean, that whole team, I'm sure, is looking to make it onto the Destruction Series, but they're all going to need to perform well here. And Zack, Garner, and Wildside under some pressure to do just that. Zack, he's getting ready to go here, and the bar is absolutely set. Can he get it done? He's at the line, he's staged, and he goes green. Zack, Garner, and Wildside, oh my goodness. He's taking this incredibly wide. He's going to hit the barrier just like Jamey Garner did. But actually, taking it wide is going to allow him to sling through that corner very nicely. He's going to take it across the rest of this red lane now. Now into the blue lane. Slow and steady might win the race for Zack, Garner, and Wildside. He's going to take some big speed over the finish line. And I'll tell you what, that race started off a little iffy. We couldn't quite tell if that wide turn was going to help him or hurt him. But now that this official time has come in, it's going to be pretty good for Zack Garner. So again, that time to beat 28.09 for Tim Hall Jr. and Jurassic Attack. The time for Zack Garner and Wildside is 28.13. It is not enough for the lead, but it is going to put him very, very close to the lead. So Zack Garner and Wildside, second place. That is exactly what he's looking for here. You know, it's not the lead, but as long as you're staying towards the top of the leaderboard and you can stay consistent, you're going to have probably the best odds of winning the overall championship later on. Well, on that note, there are only 2 racers left to go. Coming up next, behind the wheel of the Black Pearl. And this guy now has to live up to both Jamey and Zack Garner. This is Venard and the Black Pearl. Venard, no stranger behind the wheel of a monster truck. However, I think we're really seeing that experience is not everything in this show. With Zack Garner, Tim Hall Jr. dominating the top spots, I mean, those are both pretty young drivers, so maybe experience isn't everything, but maybe Venard and the Black Pearl can still get it done. Big speed kicking this off here. Taking it around this turn now. Very nicely done by Venard and the Black Pearl. A lot to be determined by the second half, though. We have seen drivers do good in the first half, but get a little messy in the second half. Venard nearly goes over, but he's actually going to recover from it very nicely. Flying over the finish line, and Venard going to set down yet another very, very close time to taking that top spot. Fans, the time to beat, 28.09 for Tim Hall Jr. and Jurassic Attack. The time for Venard and the Black Pearl is a 28.11. So again, so close to that top spot. He couldn't quite do it, but it is so close that Venard is now in second place, and he's going to get some nice points for that good performance. Well, we only have one driver remaining now here in the racing competition, and he is your overall series leader. Not only that, but he is the only driver to win racing so far. Sorry, to win racing. I said to win racing. That's nice. There's a lot of words that go into these commentaries. This is Mike Christensen and Vendetta. He has a lot to defend right now. To be the fastest racer, to be the series leader, there's a lot that Mike Christensen and Vendetta needs to get done and needs to defend with this race. But can he do it? That time has been set by Tim Hall Jr. and Jurassic Attack. What can Mike Christensen do? He's off the line. Big air over those cars. Some drivers have paid off from that. Some drivers haven't. Mike Christensen taking that turn a little bit too tight. He's going to get hiked up because of it. Nice recoveries. Might get a little bit too air on those red cars, though. Sorry, a little bit too much air. No! Oh, a killer save for Mike Christensen, but that's really going to hurt his time. A picture-perfect racing pass goes to disaster. Mike Christensen and Vendetta soaring over the finish line right there. But it's already too late. That big slip up in the red lane is going to bring his time to a 31.96, which means your racing winner tonight, Tim Hall Jr. and Jurassic Attack. Well, fans, it doesn't stop there. With Mike Christensen placing at the bottom of the pack, there are some pretty big point implications here. So we're going to quickly go through all these scores, and then we'll be back for some skills action. Monster Jam fans, we are back from that short intermission, and we have some big news. Mike Christensen made a big mistake there in the racing competition, and that's going to cause some pretty big damage here, because with only 28 points and now gaining only 2 more. Mike Christensen has 30 points. However, the second place driver coming into the show was Venard in the Black Pearl with 25 points. Well, Venard would perform very well in racing and take home second place. By getting second place, Venard would earn 9 points. And with those 9 points, Venard officially becomes the new series leader with 34 points to his name. Not only that, but Zack Garner now climbs his way into the second place spot with 32 points. So, Zack Garner only 2 points out of the lead coming into the Skills Challenge. And speaking of the Skills Challenge, fans, it's time. What can these drivers get done on 2 wheels? It's time to figure it out. Now these 10 competitors are all going to face off in yet another competition. And this is going to be a bit of more of a challenge here, because these drivers have to focus on control and balance, something that is not really as focused on in racing or freestyle. So fans, the order for this competition is going to be based on their drivers' placements in the racing competition. Sorry, I kind of got all over the place there. Based on the placements in racing, that is how these drivers are going to face off in freestyle. So, this driver unfortunately placed last in racing and did not get back the points he needed to. But he now has the opportunity to maybe get some stuff done. In the Skills Challenge, it's Matt Pagliarulo and Jester. Matt currently dominating the very bottom of the leaderboard. And he's looking to make his way out of it, but he's really going to need to have something figured out here in the Skills Challenge. And his truck shuts off. Wow, fans, I genuinely do not know what just happened. Okay, he can refire. That truck did just shut off, though, so I'm not sure why that happened. Matt Pagliarulo, he's getting set and ready to go here. On those rear 2, yes, there he goes. Rear 2 BKTs, and he is walking that wheelie. Oh my goodness! Matt Pagliarulo, he goes head over heels, and that truck is going to right itself. Unbelievable. Sometimes it's just that truck bounces the right way. And Matt Pagliarulo and Jester getting some of that luck right there as he pulls off a bit of a front flip endo move. That truck has shut off. He's going to be able to refire. Not too sure what's going on with that Jester machine today, but it just cannot stop having those shut off issues. Matt Pagliarulo, though, one more hit to go. Can he get it done? Well, let's wait and see. He's putting this in reverse. And now he's got to set this up here for something crazy to happen. Let's see what he can do. He set the bar very high with that first hit. And now he's going to have to live up to it here. A nice bit of a double wheelie move. Oh my goodness, he does it again. Oh, and he's going to go up and over. Matt Pagliarulo and Jester just pushed his truck to the limits. Unbelievable. He said, why would we need balance and control when we could have ragged edge wow factors? And that is exactly what he does right there. Absolutely sending it right there as he throws that wheelie straight into that ramp straight ahead of him, pulling off 2 crazy wow factors. Now fans, let's keep in mind that is setting the bar here in skills. Window for fan judging will be closing shortly. And scores are now locked. Fans setting the bar tonight, Matt Pagliarulo and Jester. The score is in 8.591. 8.591 currently puts Matt Pagliarulo and Jester at the top. That score might seem a little low, but this competition is about balance and precision, and Matt Pagliarulo didn't exactly have that. He had a cool wow moment, but if you're going to have a wow moment, you got to tie it into those two wheels moves somehow, and that was more of just, you know, going for it off of a wheelie. So, we'll see what these next few competitors will do. Coming up next to the track, please welcome, trying to find his way back in the series lead, Mike Christensen, Vendetta. Now, Mikey's coming out here, trying to make a comeback. Because pretty rough luck. Mistake for him, by the way. Typically, he performs pretty well in that competition. But right here, right now, he placed nearly dead last. So, maybe skills he can make a little comeback, but the bar has definitely been set pretty high by Matt Pagliarulo. Mike Christensen of Vendetta getting set and ready. And he is walking a very, very nice lap wheelie. Oh no, not again. Can he get this back? Oh, wow. Another driver gets it done. Mike Christensen, Vendetta. Well, fans, that was a pretty cool move, but unfortunately, that's gonna do it for Mike Christensen and Vendetta. You may or may not see this right here, but that front suspension, those shocks are not exactly how they should be, and a sway bar has been completely destroyed. So Mike Christensen of Vendetta not gonna be able to put down a second hit in the skills challenge. It's very rare that we have to do that, but sometimes mistakes happen, and you just gotta do what's the safest for your driver. So, the score for Mike Christensen and Vendetta is a 5.083. 5.083. And again, he had such a cool wow factor. That score might seem low, but it was only one hit, and it wasn't really all that cool when Matt Pagliarulo had done the same thing twice before him. Part of the skills challenge is you have to do something that has not been seen yet. And as cool as what Mike Christensen did was, it was not necessarily something new tonight. Coming up next, Dalton Widner, shell-shocked. Dalton putting on those front two tires, and a rare mistake by Dalton Widner. That truck goes straight up, over, and onto the lid. Unbelievable. We practically never see that from this guy. He has just had such awful luck in this competition over the past couple of events. And I mean, again, I was just saying this about Mike Christensen. Sometimes it's just the luck of the draw that things aren't going to go how you want them to. But I mean, that was unbelievably unfortunate for Dalton Widner and shell-shocked. And fans, the score there for Dalton Widner is a 2.017. 2.017. Going to put him in last place. Well, fans, that was an unfortunate break, but we're going to have to get right back into the action. And showing up next, please welcome Nick Pagliarulo and Kraken. Nick has, over time, just been getting better and better and better in this competition. And now he is really, really fun to watch. So, what can he get done here in the skills challenge? Well, let's see. Very nicely done on those front two BKT tires. Keeping the nicest balance yet. And he's going to walk it back. Keeping it nice and under control. And he is taking this all the way across the blue lane. Oh my goodness, what a move for Nick Pagliarulo and Kraken. absolutely killing it. He still has one more hit left to go. That was definitely a good way to start it, but was it as exciting as what Matt Pagliarulo was able to pull off? That is the question. Matt having two crazy wow moments. But then again, this is the skills challenge, not the best trick competition. So, Nick may be fitting the criteria a little bit better. Getting started here. Nice, walking it on those back two BKTs. Onto another wheelie. Oh, this is amazing. Gonna turn a double wheelie into a little bit of a moonwalk. Oh, and he's gonna turn it into another wheelie. You just don't see this happen. Can he get the save? Oh, man. If Nick Pagliarulo could have got that back, I think we would have seen him in the lead, but I think he bit off a little bit more than he could chew with that skills run, and unfortunately, you know, high risk, high reward moves, sometimes they pay off, sometimes they're going to be really disastrous, and right there, it's not at all going to go how Nick Pagliarulo and Kraken probably wanted it to. So that score to beat is an 8.591 for Matt Pagliarulo and Jester. The score for Nick Pagliarulo and Kraken is an 8.386. So not a bad score. It's going to keep him in the top half of the standings right now, but it's not enough to take the lead. Well, from one Pagliarulo to the next, coming up, it's Mike Pagliarulo and Excaliber. Mike is easily the best tomfoolery driver when it comes to the skills competition. He does know how to handle that truck on two wheels. But can he do it well tonight? That is the question. He's getting set up here. Onto the front two tires. And Mike Pagliarulo and Excaliber setting it down. He probably could have walked that further back, but that would have had some pretty big risk to some venue damage. So, a smart decision by Mike Pagliarulo and Excaliber to set it down when he did. Definitely the safest choice he could have made. Still has one more hit left to go. The bar has been set pretty high by other competitors, so there is a lot for Mike Pagliarulo to try to accomplish here. On those front two tires. And he is twisting and turning that truck around. So nicely done for Mike Pagliarulo and Excaliber. And he is just taking that truck back, slowly but surely. And back and forth, he is maneuvering that truck in ways we have not seen so far. Now he is turning those front two BKT tires. And Mike Pagliarulo and Excaliber sets it down. What a nice set of moves right there. So Mike Pagliarulo doing something a little different than we saw from anyone else so far. A little bit similar to what Nick could pull off, but Nick could not walk it for as long as Mike Pagliarulo could. Score to be 8.591 for Matt Pagliarulo and Jester. And the score for Mike Pagliarulo and Excaliber is an 8.582. Sorry, that score was kind of moving around there. Trying to look at it, but it's all over the place. But it is an 8.582. So that's going to put him in second place. Pretty close to taking the lead, but not quite enough. Coming up next, please welcome Jamey Garner, Overboard. Not exactly Jamey's most well-known competition, He does struggle from here to there here in the skills challenge, but maybe he could get it done here. We're just going to have to wait and see. Line it up in this blue lane. Getting this set up and ready to go. Maybe doing something new. Now, I was just saying, part of your success in the skills challenge is what can you do that no one else can. And Jamey, Garner, and Overboard showing us something that we have not seen so far. So, that'll definitely help him out right there. One more hit to go. So Jamey, Garner, and Overboard changing it up here. One more move. He looks like he is eyeing that red lane. Jamey, Garner, and Overboard, a absolutely massive sky wheelie into a save. Maybe. Can he get this back? From one side to the other, Jamey, Garner, and Overboard just went crazy in the skills challenge. Wow. That was probably the craziest thing we have seen yet. You know, yeah, Matt's move onto the front end, onto the rear end, onto the front end was crazy, but Jamey, Garner truly showing us something that we have not seen yet all season long, and I think I can respect that a lot more than just a crazy wow moment. So, let's see that score to beat 8.591 for Matt Pagliarulo and Jester. The score for Jamey, Garner, and Overboard is an 8.628, which means he is officially your new leader. So Jamey, Garner, not exactly the driver you usually expect to see dominating the leaderboard in skills, but right now, he is at the top. He just had the most consistency, and that's kind of what it's all about here, is how consistent can you be? So we now have Tyler Groth and Velociraptor looking to make this happen. He's getting this staged and ready to go. Eyeing that blue lane. A huge wheelie. He's just going to walk that from car over car. And he is just walking this wheelie across the track now. You want to say something we haven't seen yet? How about a twisted sky wheelie? Tyler Groth and Velociraptor. Very nicely done right there. He still has one move left to go. And, you know, Tyler Groth, he really just set the bar for himself. You know, he has to live up to his own move now. And I'll say something there. That was probably the nicest balancing act of the night, as he had that truck on one tire. One more move to go for Velociraptor. Onto those front two tires. And Tyler Groth is keeping this looking very nice. And he's going to walk that truck back. Sets it down cleanly on all fours. I think he might be the only driver of this entire competition to end cleanly on all fours. So, there's some credit for Tyler Groth doing something we haven't seen yet. Actually setting the truck down to end out his run. The score to beat, though, is an 8.628 for Jamey, Garner, and Overboard. The score for Tyler Groth, Velociraptor, is an 8.528. Not enough for that top spot. Now, it's not enough for the top spot, but it is still a pretty notable score. That does put him in the 4th place position. So 4th place, not enough for the lead, but it will keep him out of that bottom spot. And as long as he's out of the bottom 2 spots, he will be able to compete in Lamar still. So, Tyler Groth getting what he needed to get done. Now, Zack, Garner, and Wildside. He's coming out here, and he is a man on a mission, I will say that much. He is really trying to get it done. Putting this truck in reverse here. Can he make this happen? It looks like he's got a little something in mind, as he is eyeing that backflip ramp. He is setting this up. Oh no! Zack, Garner, and Wildside, a rare mistake. This is exactly what just happened with Dalton and Widner. They are both usually very consistent on those front two tires, but Zack Garner comes in for his first hit, and the truck over-rotates, and he just couldn't reach the ground to get it back. A very, very rare mistake for Zack Garner, and that's definitely going to hurt him in points. Score to beat 8.628 by Jamey, Garner, and Overboard. The score for Zack Garner, Wildside, is a 3.195, currently putting him towards the bottom of the pack. Not only that, that puts Zack in second to last place right now, so if he wants to have a good shot as this series goes on, he's going to have to do really good in the freestyle competition. Well, fans, only 2 competitors remain, and at this point, the stakes are pretty high because it's really anyone's game. And it's going to be a game of consistency more than anything else. So, Venard and the Black Pearl, he won this competition at the last show. But how will he do in the competition at this show? That is the question here. My apologies. Venard and the Black Pearl setting this up. Maybe doing what Zack Garner just went for. Oh, not quite. He's actually eyeing that jammer. We haven't seen in quite a while, so Venard switching it up here. Oh, wow! He's going to set it down, but it was a very, very cool slap into sky wheelie. A tough break, but what can he do from here? One more hit to go. I don't know why I said a tough break. That was a very, very cool move. Venard and the Black Pearl, he is on those side tires onto the other side, and he just had way too much momentum going right there. He's going to send that truck straight onto the lid. That was nearly moments of the night. If he could have pulled out that save, we would have seen him dominating this competition, I am sure. He was going all out on those wheels, then he went onto the other side, tried to save it, but it just was not happening. So, Venard and the Black Pearl, a tough break, but will it be enough? Score to beat 8.628, Jamey, Garner, and Overboard. The score for Venard and the Black Pearl is a 7.195. That's not going to put him at the bottom, but that is still a pretty rough score considering he was just your points leader. Now, he might still hold that lead because he is getting more points than Zack and Mike. But I'll tell you what, this next driver is quickly approaching that top spot, and after this competition, he very well might walk away with it. It's Tim Hall Jr., Jurassic Attack. Tim Hall Jr. has not been messing around so far today, as he pretty easily set down the fastest time in racing. And now he just has to do well in skills, and he could have that points lead. Oh no. Tim Hall Jr. in Jurassic Attack. Maybe he's going to get something out of this. Okay. So he's actually going to salvage that move very nicely there. It's still a little rough, though. I mean, you're coming out here looking to get that series lead. You can't slip up as badly as Tim Hall Jr. just did. So, what can he do on this second hit? I tell you, if he could do something good, maybe he could take that top spot, but he's going to have to be really, really consistent. Onto those front two tires. Very nice balance. Walking it back now. Ouch. A hard landing there for Tim Hall Jr. and Jurassic Attack. However, oh no! Well, I shouldn't say oh no. He did still set it down. 2 pretty nice hits, but it looks like he was gonna, get a little bit more going and, wasn't really able to there. So here's the conversation. Score to beat. 8.628 for Jamey, Garner, and Overboard. The score for Tim Hall Jr. and Jurassic Attack is an 8.749, which means Tim Hall Jr. and Jurassic Attack is your Skills Challenge champion. Very big news for Tim Hall Jr. fans. We're going to quickly go ahead and calculate these scores once again, but we will be back shortly, fans, so don't go anywhere. More to come after we get these points tallied up. Fans, it's officially time for freestyle, and we have some big news. Venard was only able to grab 4 points in the Skills Challenge, putting him at 38 points total in the season points chase. However, Tim Hall Jr. was able to get 10 points, and that puts him at 39 points currently in the series points chase, which means Tim Hall Jr. is officially your new Series West leader. There's still one more competition to go where that might change up for him, but as of right now, he's in a pretty good position, and if he can maintain the action that he's been putting down so far, we very well might see Tim Hall Jr. leaving this event as the series leader. But fans, there's still one more competition to go. It's time to get underway with freestyle. And kicking things off, it's Dalton, Widner, and Shell Shocked. Not sure what happened there. Camera got a little out of whack. Now this is Dalton's worst event in quite a while. He has only been able to gather 4 points in this show, so he very well is in a position where he could fall to the bottom of the standings and have no shot at being in the Destruction Series next year. A lot can be determined by this freestyle run, but he is going and getting started right away. And he's actually getting some crazy action right off the bat, so Dalton Widner in that shell-shocked truck. We're going to have to just see how he can do here. Very nice flow, though. He is not looking like he's lost whatsoever. He's going straight from hit to hit very, very cleanly and very nicely. As he's getting this turned around here, getting a little out of where he'd like to be. You can see that tree grazing the top of his truck. And he is going huge right here. Big momentum. But he's got to be careful. He might go over. Oh, no. I thought he had that. We saw Dalton Widner in Shell Shocked. He went in for the save, and the truck just totally toppled over. I guess he gave it a little bit too much momentum in that save attempt because that truck just went side to the lid. So fans, keep in mind, he did give it his best effort. Sometimes you're just going to have some unfortunate luck. And that tough luck is what we just saw for Dalton Widner. So, he sets the bar here in freestyle. There is no score to beat. And the score for Shell Shocked is a 4.915. 4.915. So, a tough start to this competition. I'm sure that's not exactly how Dalton wanted it to go. But I've said this time and time again, you have to stay on your A game at all times because of how tight this points chase is, or you're just not going to end up where you want to on the leaderboard. So fans, with all that being said, it's officially time to get into the next freestyle run. Coming at you from the Team Tomfoolery camp, it's Matt Pagliarulo, Jester. Matt's goal in this event, I would say, is probably to make it out of that last place spot. And getting 8 points in skills is definitely a good step forward for him. So we'll have to see what he can get done now that he has that out of the way. Some nice air kicking off this run. Over the back side of that jammer, so Matt Pagliarulo, not quite as much flow as we saw from Dalton Widner. So hopefully he can pick that up a little bit. Nice air on the back side of that red lane. Over this bus stack. So Matt Pagliarulo and Jester, he has a flat front right tire. There's no rules for that. He can still come out here and do whatever he wants, but I think that's definitely going to affect how well he can perform here. As he's coming around. Now, they just put an entire new body on that truck. He destroyed everything that was left of the body that he came out here earlier with. So, they just tossed on a new one, and, well, we'll see if this one walks away looking in one piece or 20 pieces like the other one. Matt Pagliarulo looks like he's starting to have some trouble out there. And I mean, sometimes that's just how it's going to go when your truck is not holding up. A nice little bit of a wheelie, but he is getting out of control. And straight into that backflip ramp. Matt Pagliarulo rolls it over with 31 seconds left on the clock. So that is the second time in a row in freestyle that Matt Pagliarulo has ended it off with a pretty big crash. He was really kind of just going at it at the end of that run. He wasn't really letting anything stop him, and again, when you get into that mindset, it's really high risk, high reward. Sometimes it'll pay off, sometimes it won't, and right there, Matt Pagliarulo evidently gonna get an early end to his run, which is not exactly what he was going for. Now Nick Pagliarulo and Kraken is next to the track, but first, it's time to take a look at that scoreboard. Fans, the score to beat, 4.915 for Dalton Widner and Shell Shock. The score for Matt Pagliarulo and Jester is a 6.593. Not a 5.9, a 6.593. So 6.593 for Matt Pagliarulo and Jester is going to put him in the lead right now. But like I was saying, coming up next, it's time for Nick Pagliarulo, Kraken. Now, Nick has a little bit less to worry about with his truck since there's no body. He can see more easily, doesn't have to worry about a little rollover. He can just go at it, and he is immediately doing that as he is on the ragged edge. Big wheelie right here, taking it down that bus stack, so very nicely done by Nick Pagliarulo and Kraken. Full speed ahead over that racing lane. Very nice air. Now he's going to take some big speed here. Now the thing with this track is there's a lot of obstacles, but it's a really long track, and the obstacles are kind of all at the opposite ends of the track. So either you have to really go fast while you're driving to that dead space, or you have to fill it with some air or wheelies, because that's really the only way you can maintain your flow on this course. Nick Pagliarulo is doing a pretty nice job of that so far. Right there, you can see he's carrying a lot of speed. This might be a hard landing. Ouch. Nick Pagliarulo. He just destroyed that truck. Now, that whole base of it might look okay, but landing hard on the chassis like that is going to do some big tubing damage, if not some big back damage as well. So, I mean, sometimes it's just a big risk of hitting a ramp like that with that much speed. The truck might not like it, and, well, Nick's truck just decides to go straight onto the lid. So that's a very tough break there for Nick Pagliarulo and Kraken. Score to beat is Matt Pagliarulo with a 6.593. The score for Nick Pagliarulo and Kraken is a 5.922. 5.922. Currently putting him in that bottom spot. Now, fans, we're going to move it into this next competitor. He was supposed to come out second in freestyle, but he had a little bit of damages that he had to repair from his rough crash in the skills challenge. As we know, this guy, unfortunately, had some pretty big suspension damage that did not allow him to get a second hit in his skills run. But that truck is fixed. He's back and he's ready to go. Please welcome Mike Christensen, Vendetta. Mike came into this event as the series leader and then immediately lost all of his fire and dropped down pretty low. So he's under pressure now to perform well, or else he might really lose out on some big opportunities for next year. He's getting started with a nice wheelie into some nice air as well. A full send right there. And some crazy action. Mike Christensen soaring over that obstacle. Some nice damages. Big air right there. So Mike Christensen, you can tell he is driving knowing that a lot is on the line if he cannot perform well here. He was also last week's freestyle winner, so maybe he's trying to live up to that as well, since he couldn't quite live up to his racing standards. But he's just really going to have to keep this going here. Nice air. Hard side slap. Fortunately, it looks like the truck's going to hold up this time. And some nice air over that bus stack. Now taking it to that center obstacle. And some more pretty good air. Over that jammer, he's lining up for the backflip. Big backflip right there. Get it back, Mike. Oh no. Ouch. Mike Christensen. He went over. That truck went onto the lid. He tried to get it on one wheel to save it. And he totally hit that backflip ramp. Maybe this barrier as well. You know, when the stakes are high, you gotta push your truck, but sometimes you push it a little too hard and it gets a bit damaging, and a very, very hard way to end out the run for Mike Christensen. I'm sure, sorry, Mike Christensen. Some of my words are just blending together, but I'm sure he will be feeling that one for a while. That was a very, very tough hit. Score to beat, 6.593 for Jester. And the score for Mike Christensen and Vendetta is a 7.861. 7.861. That's going to be good enough to put him in the lead for now. Will that score hold up? We're going to have to wait and see. 6 more freestyles still to go, but for now, that is your leader. Coming up next, fans, it's time to get loud for Zack, Garner, and Wildside. Zack has been having a very rough event. You know, he came into this show on the podium and then quickly placed pretty poorly in the skills challenge. It did hurt his series standings placement. However, can he make a comeback? That is the question, and he is starting off strong in freestyle as he tries to do just that. Nice air for Zack Garner, trying to kick it off very strong here. Another hard side slap. We've seen quite a few of those so far, but Zack Garner is not going to slow him down, that is for sure. Zack is one of those guys who will literally drive the truck until it cannot drive anymore, and he is going crazy right now. Let's see what he can do here. I mean, there's really just a lot on the line. Zack, he was on this year's Destruction Series. He performed pretty well. He wants to make it on to next year's, then he's going to have to do something crazy here. But unfortunately, some pretty big breakage for Zack Garner, as he's going to break a tie rod in that front end. And now that's going to be a bit of a difficulty here. He can't hit the backflip ramp if he has a broken tie rod. He can still carry on with the freestyle run, but now he's going to have to look for something else as that wow factor. I will say, as I was talking about the breakages, he pulled off a pretty nice save, but I mean, what else can he do? That is the question. Zack Garner and Wildside, he is starting to really struggle here. That truck is just not performing how he needs it to. I mean, he has no real front-end steering, so I'm sure that's not helping his case, but oh boy. Onto those rear 2 tires. Oh no! That's gonna put the run to an end. Zack Garner and Wildside gets crooked, tries to pull out a save, and that front end completely snaps off of the truck. Unbelievable. Zack Garner and Wildside, he was trying to make the most of a bad situation. And I will say he did a pretty good job at that, but he's going to end in some big breakage with 9 seconds left on the clock. So fans, let's keep in mind, your score to beat tonight is held by Mike Christensen and Vendetta with a 7.861. The score for Zack Garner and Wildside is an 8.259, which means despite those big truck issues, Zack Garner and Wildside is your new leader here in the freestyle competition. With that being said, it doesn't look like a particularly high score, so still some pressure there for Zack, as these 5 remaining competitors very well could put down a better performance. But for right now, Zack Garner's looking pretty good in the freestyle competition. Well, fans, it's time to get into the second half of freestyle action. And coming up next, it's Mike Pagliarulo. Sorry, I almost said Christensen. Mike Pagliarulo and Excaliber. Now, Mike Pagliarulo, he's had a pretty decent event compared to his first show, but I'm sure it hasn't been exactly everything he wanted it to be, so what can he do in freestyle? That is the question. Some huge air is definitely a good way to kick it off. Oh, into some technical moves. Amazing work for Mike Pagliarulo. He is demonstrating some real talent right here. And he's actually just going to launch it off of the ramp now. So Mike Pagliarulo and Excaliber. A nice start to the freestyle run. Big air right there. Taking it over that big crush obstacle as well. It might be a mail truck. Now what can he do? Some more huge air. I'll tell you what. Mike Pagliarulo and Excaliber has had some of the biggest air all throughout this year. I mean, even back when it was still the Send It series, he was going pretty big. So, Mike Pagliarulo, this might put the run to an end. Or it might ramp up the run to the next level. Mike Pagliarulo and Excaliber pulling off wow moment of the event. And that has now opened the door for Mike Pagliarulo to really burn it down and take home that new lead if he can keep this truck alive. He is really going at it right now. And that is where it comes to an end. When you start driving on the ragged edge, I've said this phrase over and over and over again with the Frawl Brawl series. High risk, high reward. Mike Pagliarulo goes for high risk. At first it gives him a high reward, but then he's going to have to pay as that truck goes over onto the lid. So, a nice effort for Mike Pagliarulo, leaving about 26 seconds on the clock. Score to beat, 8.259 for Zack, Garner, and Wildside. The score for Mike Pagliarulo is an 8.298, which means just barely Mike Pagliarulo and Excaliber is your new leader in the freestyle competition. And I'll tell you what, Mike has really needed to get some good points like that for a while. So this might be a big breakthrough opportunity for him if that score can hold up. But coming up next, it's Tyler Groth and Velociraptor. Tyler has been having a great night out here, so if he can keep it up, I mean, he might be going home with a podium spot in the series standings, but he's going to need to do pretty good here in freestyle. He is off to a strong start, I'll give him that. He's really not wasting any time in this freestyle run. A nice slap wheelie. You really don't see those as often now. And he's going to walk a wheelie down the back face of that ramp. That is amazing. True driving talent from Tyler Groth and Velociraptor. He might be the first driver to go in for that blue side hit of the bus stack. So very nicely done by Tyler Groth. And a big sky wheelie once again. He has done so many good sky wheelies and just wheelies in general throughout this run and throughout this event. Big air right there as well. Going in for that hang time will always be a good sign in freestyle. And Tyler Groth and Velociraptor setting down a nice stoppie as well, so he's really showing a pretty nice display of talent, a hard side slap. But the truck holds up, he might be going for something. It's backflip time, and he is going to nail it. Tyler Groth and Velociraptor. Oh, and he's going backwards, gauge bursty style. That is nice to see. It is very rare to see Tyler Groth go for something crazy like a backflip, but he is definitely under some added pressure to try and make it onto the big floors next season, and he is definitely pushing this truck pretty hard. Now, how can he put an end to this run? About 5 more seconds remain. Big air as well. He is just going at it to end out this freestyle run. Tyler Groth and the Velociraptor. And he's going to go in for a bit of an encore performance for you fans. Just kind of drive that truck a little bit more. Oh man, he's getting crazy. Maybe going in for some donuts here. And that is a nice way to cap off the run. There goes the hood. No way he could do a full show without some body damage. Tyler Groth and Velociraptor putting down the first full 2-minute freestyle run of the night. So that is what you love to see. Tyler Groth making his return to monster trucks in a pretty big way with this tour, as he has been doing very nicely in his performances so far. Now that score to beat is an 8.298 for Mike Pagliarulo and Excaliber. The score for Velociraptor is an 8.397. Tyler Groth is officially your new leader. Put him at the top. And you know, that's really, really good to see there for Tyler Groth. He is definitely one of the more iconic drivers out of this lineup, and it looked like he was fortunately able to just get it done tonight. But on that note, fans, only 3 more competitors remain. Coming up next, please welcome Venard, the Black Pearl. Now, if you want to talk about an experienced driver, Venard has to be in the discussion. I mean, he has pulled off some of the greatest saves, some of the craziest crashes, and some of the biggest leaps in all of monster truck history. So it is no surprise to see him in the runnings for the big series next year, and he just pulled off another iconic Venard save. That is what I am talking about. He got that save out of what I thought was impossibility. I mean, it looked like that truck was completely on the lid, just no coming back, but he got one tire to grab the ground, and that was all he needed to get this run back underway. Onto one BKT tire. This might be the best run of the season yet. Venard in the Black Pearl. He is looking to become a freestyle winner, and he is on path to do so. Taking it over the red side of that bus ramp, and he has some big breakages. He might have 2 flat tires. This is unbelievable. You never see this ever in monster trucks. Venard in the Black Pearl. If he keeps driving, he is certainly establishing himself as a crazy monster truck driver. No way he goes in for this. There's just no way this ends well. Venard and the Black Pearl lines up for the backflip. And he's going to under-rotate it as he tries to get it back. But when you have just no wheels to work with, how could you get it back? Venard and the Black Pearl giving his best effort here in freestyle. He knew he was going to have to add something big to follow up that save. So he went in for a backflip. And I mean, it went about as well as you would expect a 2-wheel backflip to go. It did not go well at all. Still a great effort for Venard and the Black Pearl. He had one of the craziest freestyle runs we have seen here in a long, long time. Now, fans, that score to beat is an 8.397 for Tyler Groth and Velociraptor. The score for Venard and the Black Pearl is... It is an 8.683, which means Venard is officially your new leader in the freestyle competition. That is amazing to see Venard coming out here, evidently trying to get it done. And I'll tell you what, that freestyle run is exactly what he needed. Fans, only 2 competitors remain to try and take it away from Venard. And coming up next, it's Jamey Garner and Overboard, his own teammate, his own boss. So that is how you know it's going to get crazy. Your own employee is winning the competition. Are you going to let that happen? Well, that's the question posed for Jamey Garner and Overboard as he's setting up for his freestyle run. Fans, let's hear it. Jamey Garner looks like he's got some big plans. He is going at it. Huge air right there. And that is how you get a run started. So Jamey Garner and Overboard evidently under that pressure of trying to live up to his performance from the rest of the event, really. Because Jamey has been one of the most consistent drivers. He's been the most consistent outside of Tim Hall Jr., so he's got a lot to live up to. And starting off with the biggest send of the night is definitely a good way to live up to it. And some more nice air, so Jamey, Garner, and Overboard evidently ready to go here in freestyle and ready to do what needs to be done to get his name atop the leaderboard. Huge air right there. Jamey, Garner really establishing himself as the big air driver on this event. I mean, he went huge in skills. Now he's going huge hit after hit in freestyle. What more could you ask for Jamey, Garner in Overboard? Maybe this is what more you could ask for. He is going for a backflip. Oh no, can he get it back though? Yes, he can. Jamey, Garner, and Overboard. Unbelievable. He is going at it. Huge. Oh my gosh, that might be the biggest send of the night. That was some serious elevation. Jamey, Garner, and Overboard. He is not going to let Venard come in here and walk away with it. He pulls off his own amazing save. Jamey, Garner, and Overboard. This might be able to do it. Venard went crazy, but Jamey, Garner, and Overboard said he could go crazier, and that is exactly what he has done. Maybe it's time for one more hit. And Jamey, Garner sends it to the moon. Oh, can he pull out another one? Just for the fans, Jamey, Garner, and Overboard just pulled off another crazy save and a third amazing save just to put that run to an end. Absolutely unbelievable work from Jamey, Garner, and Overboard. That was one of the greatest freestyle runs I think we have ever seen on the channel. Jamey just absolutely did not hold back, hit after hit. He drove as hard as he could, got a great save after the backflip, got a great save after his full send. I mean, there is really no complaint in that freestyle run. Jamey, Garner, and Overboard had everything. But on that note, is it enough? The score to beat, an 8.683 for Venard in the Black Pearl. The score for Jamey, Garner, and Overboard is a 9.694, which means he is now your new leader in the freestyle competition. But fans, there is still one more driver to go, and I don't think this guy's going to let Jamey walk away with it. Because so far, this driver has had a perfect event, and if he can win freestyle, he could be the first driver in channel history to have a completely perfect event. Jamey, Garner just threw it down, but Tim Hall Jr. and Jurassic Attack is looking for those perfect 3 wins, and he is not going to let Jamey, Garner, and Overboard walk away with it just like that. Tim Hall Jr., he is going right off the bat with some big full send action, and he crushes that mail truck. Absolutely amazingly done. Oh man. Tim Hall Jr. and Jurassic Attack, he is on the ragged edge right off the bat. He just has no time to waste here. He is trying to get a perfect event, and a save like this might be able to get it done. Tim Hall Jr. and Jurassic Attack, when a driver is so close to such a big achievement, they always step up the bar in some way. And Tim Hall Jr., oh no! Oh, tough luck. I mean, there's some situations where there's really nothing you could do, and Tim Hall Jr. and Jurassic Attack finds himself in just that. He was burning it down, doing super well here in freestyle, but one small mistake is all it took, and that rear left wheel said, I'm done, fell off the truck, and Tim Hall Jr. going to an early end after completing only 43 seconds of his freestyle run. Now that's a tough break because he was so close to having a perfect event, and he really could have left this event as the overall leader, but an early rollover like that really could hurt those chances. The score is a 6.983, so it's not enough for that top spot. Well, fans, I'll tell you what, we're going to count up all these scores, we're going to see how all these drivers stand, and we'll be back with the official series standings. Alright fans, we are back from that short break, and all the scores have officially been counted up. So fans, here's the news. Previously, Mike Christensen and Vendetta was your season leader that was coming into this show. But Mike had some pretty rough luck, and here's how the points ended out. Currently in first place, Venard in the Black Pearl, 47 points. Taking second place, Tim Hall Jr. in Jurassic Attack, 43 points. In third place, Jamey, Garner in Overboard, 42 points. Fourth place, Zack, Garner in Wildside with 40 points. Fifth place, Mike Christensen in Vendetta with 38 points. In sixth place, Tyler Groth in Velociraptor with 33 points. In seventh place, Mike Pagliarulo in Excaliber with 27 points. In eighth place, Nick Pagliarulo in Kraken with 23 points. In ninth place, Matt Pagliarulo in Jester with 20 points. And in last place, Dalton, Widner in Shell Shock with 17 points. So there are some big stories. Cole Venard is going to take it out of second place and into first place. So Cole evidently has been very consistent on this season, and he is looking the nicest so far. Tim Hall Jr.'s near perfect event, though, is going to put him up into second place, while Jamey's overall win, that's right, Jamey got the overall 25 points. That overall win put him into third place. A big climb for Jamey Garner. Zack stays in the game, but falls down to fourth place from his previous spot in third. Mike Christensen, as said, falling to fifth place just from having such an inconsistent show. However, Mike is only 9 points out of the lead, so Mike could still make a comeback. Tyler Groth finally has his name out there, as he is up at 33 points. So Tyler currently in sixth place means that he has a pretty good chance at making it to Lamar. And Mike Pagliarulo finally getting out of that bottom little area means that Mike also has a pretty good shot at making it to Lamar if he can stay consistent. The other big story, Dalton falls to dead last. He had horrible luck in every competition tonight, so hopefully next week, or I guess I should say later this week, he could get it back. But fans, we never go out on the Frawl Brawl Series without an encore. Please welcome to the track to burn it down just for the fans, none other than Darren Basil and Blockhead. Darren will send that truck until it is in pieces. That is what makes him so fun to watch. And I mean, you're talking a decades-long experienced driver. That is how you know it's going to be a pretty notable performance. And he is off to an incredible start here in freestyle. Or not freestyle, I guess I should say his freestyle, but in the encore is what it really is. Darren Basil, he is going crazy right off the bat. He's wasting no time. Big air right there as well. He's taking us around here, so, you know, Darren Basil and Blockhead, he really is not a driver who likes to mess around. He goes out there and he gets it done with probably the biggest sends you will ever see at a venue like this. Although Jamey Garner went pretty big, so Darren's definitely got his work cut out for him. But Darren's trying to match what Jamey did, maybe even top it if he can keep this up. Now the difference between the encore and freestyle is Darren is not on a timer. He can run this for as long as he wants or as long as that truck can hold up, so Darren Basil and Blockhead truly putting on a performance. Looks like he got a little crossed up there, but he was able to figure it out, and that might be the biggest send we have seen all Frawl Brawl Series long. Can he get this back? Darren Basil, what a rough crash. Oh my goodness. You know, we just saw David Olfer driving Blockhead in Tucson for an encore. David full sent it into a save, while Darren came out here, full sent it, tried to turn it into a save, but instead ended up on a very, very hard crash. Still an amazing encore, showing us some great talent, Darren Basil and Blockhead. But the story, fans, is Cole Venard goes from second to first and is your new points leader, with Jamey Garner and Overboard claiming that overall win. So, clearly a very good event for the Garner and Overboard team. Right now, they dominated pretty much every factor of big winnings. However, Tim Hall Jr. was the real star driver, winning both racing and skills. Fans, we do not yet know where this tour will head next, but we will be seeing Series East pretty soon. So, be ready for that. Thank you all for coming out to this event. This was very